Today's video touches on a subject that I know will resonate deeply with many of you. Because it's a common concern that comes up in emails and messages. How I wish things were different. That it wasn't me who is going through this bad time. But that other person. Why can't he or she be the one suffering and not me? This script addresses precisely that concern. How can these roles be reversed? How to stop being the one who persecutes to become the one who is persecuted. It is possible to make such a radical change. As if it were a heart transplant. How can we make the obsession change its place of body, mind, heart? The first thing you must do is to get out of that game of persecution, in which somehow, you always find yourself as the one who persecutes. Under no circumstances. No matter how difficult they may be. Allow yourself to be in the position of the one who is chasing someone else. This is not only unattractive. It is also profoundly counterproductive. Always remember that whatever you feel the need to pursue in life, will inevitably try to escape. If you take on the role of the pursuer, the other person has no choice but to take on the role of the pursued. And that is certainly not beneficial to you. I'm going to offer you a comparison to help you understand this more clearly. Imagine a hunter, who after an intense and exciting hunt, returns home with his prey. The satisfaction he feels comes from having married the animal by his own means. Having overcome the challenge, that trophy has a symbolic value, because it represents the hunter's effort and skill. Now, imagine that the same hunter finds the body of the dead animal at the door of his house, without having done anything to get it. The difference is abysmal. The first is a source of pride, the second is something that repels. It is fascinating to observe how a person can perform an action, and obtain an identical result. But what really makes the difference is the process you went through to get there. Even if the result is the same, the experience along the way is what changes everything. This principle is applicable in all our social interactions, and in the conquest process. The key is to allow the other person to enjoy the journey, the challenge. Instead of offering everything on a platter, it is important that you take a moment to reflect and avoid showing signs of dependency or neediness. The only dependency you should have is on yourself. And the only neediness is to better yourself. Value your time and don't give it away easily to those who haven't earned it yet. Let people demonstrate that they are worthy of your time, your attention, and your enthusiasm. Don't waste your efforts on those who don't value them. Instead of being obsessed with how you respond or act in every interaction, it's crucial that you understand that it's not so much what you say or do, but the energy and attitude with which you do it. This concept is similar to the example of the hunter. Although the end result may seem the same, the path taken to get there completely changes the experience. Finally, it is essential to clarify that this example does not seek to promote the hunting of animals, but is used as a metaphor, to illustrate the importance of the process, in our relationships and interactions. True inner peace is not found in being in love, but in being calm and in control of oneself. To be completely clear, it is essential to understand that the true essence of charm lies in how well-being and personal fulfillment is transmitted. When a person has worked on building a life that allows them to feel happy, that feeling is reflected in everything they do. The key to charm lies in that inner satisfaction that comes from being at peace with oneself, both personally and professionally. Imagine someone who looks in the mirror, and is satisfied with what he sees, who reflects on his life and feels fulfilled, who surrounds himself with sincere friends, and finds joy in his hobbies. Such genuine happiness is not only the result of a conscious effort to create the life he desires, but also the elimination of negative elements, such as toxic people, bad habits, and poor nutrition. Is a continuous process of enhancing the positive and getting rid of the negative. When a person is in harmony with themselves, they don't need to try too hard to attract others. People are naturally attracted because being around someone who radiates well-being. It's nice. Also, when someone is well mentally, emotionally, and physically, they will attract people who are in a similar situation. Instead, when you don't feel good, you tend to accept people who aren't at their best either, which perpetuates a cycle of dissatisfaction. If someone hasn't yet found those people they want to surround themselves with, or hasn't attracted that special person they long for, the focus should be on becoming that version of themselves that they want to see reflected in others. Over time, by improving and working on yourself, that ideal person will naturally appear. Never let anyone, not even yourself, make you believe that you don't deserve to be with the person you dream about. Often, people try to discourage someone who is excited about a new relationship by saying they should be realistic or not aim too high. Instead, invest all your energy into becoming the best version of yourself, someone worthy of being next to that special person. Fall in love with yourself, and become someone who is impossible not to love. Focus on developing what makes you unique. And don't fall into the trap of comparing yourself to others. Not even in your thoughts. Often, it is believed that if you don't verbalize the comparison, it has no impact, but the truth is that any kind of comparison, even mental, puts you at a disadvantage. Consider this situation. You are in a public place with someone you care about, and suddenly an attractive person walks in. If he notices that you notice that person too, automatically, in his mind, that person becomes more important. This happens because he not only got his attention, but yours as well. Suddenly, what was initially a 7 in his mind becomes a 10. The power you gave that person is something you could have avoided by not comparing or paying that much attention to him. Don't compare yourself to anyone, and most importantly, don't let anyone feel that they have power over you, or that you are threatened by someone else. When you work on your uniqueness, what makes you different, your charm becomes unbreakable. One of the most important principles to follow is to maintain some uncertainty. Never let someone feel completely secure about you, or think they have you completely under control. Because that is the opposite of attractiveness. Novelty and the ability to constantly reinvent yourself are key to keeping the relationship from falling into monotony. It's vital that you always maintain an element of surprise. Something that piques the other person's curiosity and interest. Imagine like chewing gum or bubble gum that has an unexpected liquid center. At first they seem ordinary, but that surprise in the center, that's what really makes the difference. In the same way, always keep an ace up your sleeve. A unique detail that you can use when needed. That little touch of mystery and novelty is what will make that person stay with you. That person will be attracted to you, and realize that what you offer cannot be found in anyone else. Your personal charm, that differential advantage that only you possess, is what will make the difference at the end of the day. Here is a distinctly different version based on the script you provided me. This is an additional tip that is meant to help you let go of the expectations you may create around another person. Often, when things don't happen the way you had imagined, you become filled with frustration and anxiety, falling into what we might call a scarcity mentality. It's similar to when you're on a diet, and suddenly everything you can eat becomes the only thing you want. You want that ice cream because you know you can't have it. You crave that burger precisely because it's out of your reach. To further clarify the issue of expectations, consider this scenario. You've been dating someone for a month, and you're very mindful of that date. You expect that person to remember it too because, for you, it's a significant milestone. Then the day comes, and when they contact you, you expect them to mention that special date. But when that doesn't happen, you feel a surge of disappointment, sadness, and you even begin to doubt your importance to that person. The mistake here is to assume that the other person will react, think and feel exactly as you do. That unrealistic expectation, created only in your mind, leads you to suffer unnecessarily. You may be very important to that person, but maybe they have a different way of showing it. Perhaps dates are not crucial to her, and that doesn't diminish the value she places on you. In an unhealthy reaction, you might become obsessed with becoming essential to that person, and this could lead you to inappropriate behaviors, such as constantly trying to get her attention, chasing her, begging her, or begging for her affection. This is where the situation starts to get complicated, because you enter into a kind of scarcity mentality, desiring what you feel you don't have. That's why it is fundamental that you eliminate those false expectations and work on building your personal happiness. Remember that in a fulfilled life, there is no room for anxiety, dependency, or extreme neediness. Focus on being happy for yourself, and all those things I mentioned will have no place in your life. In the end, the key is to live without the burdens of unfounded expectations. Enjoy the present and be aware that everyone is different in their way of expressing affection. Stay calm, and move forward without obsessing about what you might have imagined. Remember to leave your like if you liked the video and subscribe so you don't miss more content like this. Thank you very much for joining me today. See you soon.